happening, everyone? Welcome to the Rixican Show. You can, if you want to see us better than my Facebook Live, we're on YouTube
and Rumble.
and you can see everybody on the show. Otherwise, too bad. You get to see my face. We'll get into this later, but we have new business in town we're going to talk about. Always supporting our local people. What's happening? I'm still working on the Moses Lake Sail and Paddle group.
What were you doing at the city today?
So they're doing like their 5-year, 20-year like plan and just getting input. And we talked about the water as I went to different stations, and that was kind of a good topic. And it's interesting to, I'm like, I have like my bias on it, and then I hear their perspective. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I hadn't either thought of that, or I didn't know that point of view, or certain government agencies aren't talking to each other. I was like, the people that control the level of the water is not the city, and I'm hearing it's going to go up a foot, and they're like, that's impossible. And I was like, okay, maybe you guys need to start talking to each other. So that's kind of I'm like, because you have like different groups that control different things. You have the port and Moses Lake Irrigation District and the city, and so I guess sometimes they're not on the same page. I was like, man, that is not what I'm hearing from this guy. Like, who really controls the level of the water?
I can guarantee it's not me.
I can guarantee. Yeah, it's not me either. I have heard that it is going up this year. They raised it 3 inches last year, and some people were concerned. And they're like, we can raise in increments or just raise the whole thing. Deeper lake, less green, right? I mean, a foot's a foot. I mean, I don't think that much a difference, but anyway, more coastline coming soon.
New features added.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm curious now, like who's right, who's wrong, like who actually controls this. So I may run back over there and be like, hey, are you guys talking to the right people? Because anyway, different groups are like, I have no obligation to talk to them,
If I were going to the studio or to the city, first thing I would tell them that is if they have issues with their vehicles in the city, they can call Brothers Automotive today at 761-9744. Try all your vehicle needs, big or small. Brothers Automotive, the most affordable, reliable automotive place in Moses Lake. I think most places charge $130 to $200 an hour. Brothers Automotive sits right around $100 per hour, and they piecework most of their jobs to make it easy for you. So what you are quoted is usually what you pay, if not sometimes less. So Brothers Automotive, give them a call today, 761-9744, Moses Lake City people, 761-9744, Brothers Automotive.
Is there like a song to go to that? Brothers Automotive.
You could probably write one.
No, I give up. That was terrible and cheesy. Sorry, folks. So working on Moses Lake Sail and Paddle, and possibly Wednesday I'm picking up like 11 boats. So things are lining up. And if you know me, I have ideas, but I also wait for the stars to align on things, and the stars seem to be aligning. So we're like, all right, let's push this. But 11 boats, I mean, that's, you can teach some people how to sail.
I have a question for you, though.
So that's good. We're getting some.
How is it you, the host of the show, isn't the first to be asked, hey, aren't you on the Rixican show?
Aren't you on the Rixican show?
Because some random stranger stopped and asked me, aren't you on the Rixican show?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'd expected that to come from you first. Someone stopped me. But you are the Rixican.
Donnie is not on the Rixican show.
I am definitely here. Doesn't happen without me.
That's true. Donnie's the whole reason it happens. He handles all the technology behind the scenes and gets the sites linked up. And when things fail, I give him the stink eye, but I couldn't do it by myself. I can do Facebook and go, there we go, let's go. But other than
that's how it started, actually. He was doing his lives all the time. So I said, let's do a podcast. And he's like, okay. And then I brought all this in. And he was like, whoa,
You're serious about this.
You weren't kidding. Oh my
We weren't
gosh.
kidding. They're bringing cameras and microphones, and I was like, I was just doing it the easy, simple way. Now we're all complex and legit, smooth. Solo para que sepa mi gente. No, I'm just kidding. Yes. Anyway, we haven't talked about why Rixican. So I have lived overseas in many different countries, and they kind of have a unique view of the world, I guess. And I make this killer rice dish with kielbasa sausage, jasmine rice, black beans, the chili con queso cheese. Anyway, it's really good. And somebody's like, you should call this Rixican rice. And then I was like, I love that name. So from there, it kind of stuck. And then I was like, we have a podcast. I'm like, call it the Rixican Show. And then
And we got the fancy banner behind you.
it's not meant to be offensive or anything. It's just
I always tell people it's not American, it's Mexican.
it's Rixican. Yeah.
And they go, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
They expect me to say a different race.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's not American, it's Mexican.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of a small history on that. It was just meant to be fun. All right, let's introduce our guest. Let me read my notes here. Adam McDonald with ButtonUp Construction. ButtonUp Construct.
There you go.
Adam, why construction?
Because it's all I know. Actually, I enjoy in construction. I enjoy leaving all my worries behind and building something that somebody likes or that I like, and I look back at it and say, "That's a pretty good job I just did." Maybe an ego builder. I don't know. Don't really like saying too much on ego because ego gets me in trouble.
You have a huge ego.
Oh, it's sometimes it gets bad. My wife yell at me.
Oh no!
What are you doing? And I've had friends, bro, check your ego, because like when somebody criticizes my work, on a construction job site, I get all fired up and want to spit. I want to throw back. I want to throw some fists back.
Oh yeah.
With my mouth, usually.
With your mouth.
But I've learned to tame that down and do some actual research, listen to some podcasts, kind of be open-minded to the fact that maybe my ego can get me in trouble. Just maybe,
Just maybe.
it might push people away. It might push my wife away or my best friends,
Or clients.
or clients. Exactly.
Clients, yeah.
Or neighbors.
Clients is a new thing for me, though. I just started, a construction business, and haven't really dealt with the client side, a whole too much. But I know enough to do what's right and make them happy.
Good. But what do you specialize in? Underwater basket weaving,
I like hanging out in crawl spaces and looking up at the moldy stuff and
breathing in asbestos and
the attic. I like getting really sweaty. I put on all the clothes I can and get in an attic when it's 100 degrees out.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I won't go up there. I like crawl spaces, okay, but dude, like I've been around everything, all of it. For a while. I used to build houses in Seattle from the ground till we sell them. So, reading plans, easy. I've ran crews on doing framing projects. But that's how I learned actually most of my trade is from framing custom houses.
Speaking of framing, Rick, I'm pretty sure you framed this room here.
Ooh, I did do that. Volunteer work.
Yeah, that door isn't sitting right.
I know. It's like not quite even. There's a couple inches of, space on each side.
It's settling.
That's shrinkage.
Yeah.
I specialize, dude. I like doing. I like working outside. I love working outside, siding, windows, caulking's fun because it's like it's like a meditation.
Oh yeah.
Nothing matters when I'm pouring big coffee. It's like I'm almost it's like I'm like meditating, and talking to my God,
The size of the
Small,
matters.
big, whatever, smooth, rough.
Sanded finish, rough, smooth.
I don't enjoy sanding because it cracks every time.
Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I think on my side, I prefer the remodels. I think my ADD loves doing something different every day. I think I like to look at a job and I think I can see through the walls in a sense, close my eyes, I can see through the walls and be like, okay, I know there's going to be a vent pipe here and they're going to want a niche right there. And sometimes when you rip it open, there's the vent pipe. Sometimes it's off. I'm like, do I need to reroute that or change, so, just being able to see and anticipate problems. Now I have done remodels where there's been a few surprises, like, the water was shut off for, a year or so before I got on this project and redid a bunch of plumbing. And when I turned it on, the crawl space was flooding and I was like, what in the world? And sure enough, right where it came out of the dirt was just busted. Like, I don't know if water had sat there and froze, I don't know what was going on. So I'll be digging down, fixing that, but I was surprised and and it was all rotted out, but like, sometimes you don't know until you power things up, in this case with water, but, tracing down problems, but I love remodels.
You ever get in that place again? I do have one of those Milwaukee sump pumps. You can stick down there and just drain it.
Train it.
I'll let you borrow it.
I prefer the DeWalt pump. I'm just kidding. There's always a Milwaukee DeWalt fighting here. I love them both, but Donnie is 100% Milwaukee red.
I'm pretty, efficient in Milwaukee too.
Milwaukee.
I picked a brand long time ago and just stuck with it.
Yeah, and they're great. I choose DeWalt because side by side they're fairly comparable. But
DeWalt's cheaper.
when I lose a tool or an employee adopts one or whatever, I'm like, I just saved $200 loss of my $400 loss. So
Right.
So with
me, I always bought myself Milwaukee and I bought other products for my help.
Ryobi.
Ryobi.
So I did buy a Ryobi kit once, and we were framing, and the sucker didn't even last a day. I burned up.
That's the old models.
I burned up like 5 tools in one day, and then was smoking, whatever. It was probably like 5-6 years ago.
Rick's up there throwing off of you.
Yeah, I thought like maybe I could get a year out of these. It's like $250 for this 5-piece kit. I go, maybe I can get a year out of this. That's $250, no problem.
And newer stuff you can, but that old stuff, no.
So the remodel side is probably where I'm sitting right now. Starting new in Moses Lake, there's not a whole lot of opportunities to go and build a big house. I'm not in good with the banks yet. I won't say I will ever be, but for right now, it's just small remodels. Need a new bathroom? I got you. I do the whole thing. Tile, tubs around, whatever you need. So I've picked up and learned a lot of trades along the way of my career path to where I am right now. I've paid attention to, I retain the stuff that's important to me, like any male kind of does, so I will take, for a remodel example, like I like to start fresh, tear everything out and see what I'm working with. I want to build it right the first time. Solid foundation to the studs. Oh, you need backing for a towel bar? Oh yeah, I got you. When I was building houses in Seattle, I was the rough in guy. I was the rough in guy because I'm the one setting up the house for the finishes. So I'm putting blocking in where it's necessary, cabinet blocking, towel ring, towel bar, TP, everything, the whole nine, and setting up where my plumbing is. I don't want my plumbing behind the mirror from the vanity. The breeze stack, 9 times out of 10, they want to stick it right in the middle. And then you need a light above the vanity too. So get that thing out of there, you plumbers.
Those guys just don't understand, They'd be cutting through joists and crazy stuff. And then see the vector fails in, you go back out and look at the framing, you're like, guy, like, it's me.
Yeah, it's always everything's fixable. I
it
went to the
is.
boss that freaked out the first time. It was over. Explosions.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, hey, everything's fixable, bro. I got you.
Yeah.
We'll fix it now. Fix it now. I worked with a guy. He was just, he pretty much trained me to be dangerous on the job site. Very dangerous. Like every line, detail, grout line, everything's got to be lined up perfect. Just everything's got to, straight. That's the right way. I've seen people just completely, oh, nobody's going to notice. Let's just, put this thing an inch out of plumb. Who cares? Nobody cares.
Ooh, that's a lot.
I've seen it all.
Even when you put it in perfect, it's still wood. Things twist, things whatever. You think you wrecked the outside wall perfect, and the sheet of plywood's on there perfect, but it's going to be off an eighth. There's always
There's always buildup.
or maybe your level isn't true anymore, and you're like, you test your level, and you're like, oh, there's like the 16th difference on which way you flip it. I mean, so you're going to have a margin of error. I did a job for a steel worker once, and he criticized every little thing, piece of wood, whatever, and then he went and looked at a parade of homes. And he said, every wall was crooked in that thing. You look down the wall and, the lumber, and he like apologized because it's not steel, it's not true, come off the, it.
Off the forge, nice and straight.
Yeah. Cause like, as soon as you go taller, like you got your 9-foot walls, you can be pretty straight. You start getting into 12, 16-foot walls, and you're going to see a lot more going on because and you can
Small crowdy.
it's just things are crooked and twisted and bowed and whatever, even if it's subtle. And when you pop that rack of lumber, every day it sits there, it's wanting to do stuff on you, and so it's going to happen. So the taller the wall is, as a consumer, expect a little more variance. So some people never even notice it, but if you get down inside it, hopefully when you plywood it and everything together, it smooths it out, but it's just the nature of the beast.
Unless you're getting into very high end houses with engineered studs,
yeah.
LSL, LVL, all the LVL is kind of varying, but the LSL that comes out there is like the straightest, strongest stuff. You can barely nail through it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's retarded.
So
but it is expensive. You're right. Yeah.
Get some custom lumber. Yeah. But most people, they don't want to pay that.
Oh, no.
You're like, yeah, your $30,000 framing, yeah, it's $60 because you want the good stuff.
Like, you want everything perfect, man.
Oh, it adds up quick. People don't realize. But I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. You're trying to be as precise as possible. So when the last guy in there, because after the sheetrocker's bit, his corners are going to be slightly fatter than, all these things add up. And then the finished guy, he's going to cry about everybody. Like they did it on purpose, but it's just, that's just part of the deal.
Sometimes it's like, is it worth saying anything to anybody, or just kind of, you're the finished guy, we're going to make it look great.
Yeah, that's the stickers of the job.
Right.
The caulking's got to be good. The trim's your joints got to be good. And, I've noticed on a lot of remodels when things don't line up and they're like, oh, it's just an old house. It's settled. I'm like, no, it didn't. I was like, it was built crooked from day one. In a sense, I still see that on new construction too, though. When they're pulling walls off one wall and you come off the other wall, sometimes, there's a little wandering between sides, and, it might look good from one side going, but on the west side, you measure back and you're like, yeah, that's a half inch out of whack. It's new construction, but it happens, folks. Your new house is just as crooked as the old one.
9 times out of 10.
The things we don't like to talk about as contractors. Like I say, most of the time the homeowner never sees it or notices, you know, but as they're pulling tape and chalking lines using a different measuring tape, you got two guys pulling and they mark it. Measuring tape could be off a 16th,
That's
an
right.
eighth of an inch. So I mean, there's human error and mechanical error like everywhere, you know.
And then work on the guys that are left fixing it all. Fix all. They call me Fix It Felix with the golden hammer.
Wow. How much is that golden hammer?
Well, I can't tell you.
Can't tell you.
I
Yeah.
got dropped from the for framing gods.
Yeah. Who is like the god of construction?
Larry Hahn.
Very high.
Larry Hahn, the old carpenter, hand banging and everything else.
So those guys are amazing.
Dude.
We can't even do what they do with like, air guns.
No.
But there's a lot of cool tricks to the trade. It's great to watch framers, because sometimes you have something framed and you're trying to square it up and it doesn't want to go. And you're like, we're going to have to give this effort some love. And you start making these leverage tools and, maybe the simple one doesn't work. You're like, ooh, we got to take it to the next level.
Come alongs and
Yeah, they have these cool little, it's got like it's almost like a bolt system that you can put your claw hammer in there and you can twist that thing and adjust.
wall puller.
Yeah. So that's like, if you really can't figure it out, then you got to bust that sucker out. But usually you can find some type of leverage deal to do it. But sometimes we're breaking lumber. You got your studs you're using as your leverage, and you're like, man, didn't quite get it.
Yeah, the framing experience that I have is like the funnest time just being up on the roof about 30, 40 feet off the ground and just looking down at a hand cut roof, just standing on the ridge beam and you're just like, fuck cubicles,
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, I was just looking at a fire damaged house. It's been burned and run empty, just studs. And they want to take out, they had like some mini vaults in it, but the mini vault was like a support, and to take that out to keep the main vault going. And I'm like, ooh, we're gonna have to do some fancy beams in this thing to take the load here and there and to add this there, and then you can open the whole thing up. But I was like, it's anyway, I kind of had to walk them through it. But I'm like, even if I put a beam across up in the attic to take where the loads come in, and then have like there's another beam that had to come, and you'd almost have to do like an all thread to like hang another beam down lower to catch another section so you can leave it as open as possible. And I was like, this is going to take some love and massaging, a little bit of thinking about. But even once you get it on a wall, then you got to follow that wall down, get under the house, add a new, because it has to be continuous on your loads. So things people don't think about. But anyway, it's like, we'll see if they call me back. But I'm like, it's a several $100,000 project.
Right, because we got to call the engineer, structural engineer, architect, whatever.
Yeah, because I'm like, there was a brace halfway, and now you want to take that out, and you're like, okay. I'm like, we're possibly looking at sistering, like, because now they want to insulate it to the new things. You got 2x12s. You're gonna, where they're 2x6s now, you'll sister on a 2x12, running the length so you can insulate it to the new codes. And it's just all sorts of fun stuff. And I was like, are you okay with that? And you come up to your window, this wall's going to come down a little lower. It still vaults, but just walking them through the process of this, and that's going to run up to this beam, and that's going to take the new load. It's like, it's just kind of it's just, there's always something, a lot of creative, and there's some weird tricks to the trade that are pretty cool. And
I think you've taught me a couple. I've worked with you a couple times.
Of course, the twitchy eye. I'm like, you can't trust that guy. I don't know uptight you much, but I appreciate that. It sounds great.
No, the old caulk over your blue tape.
Little painting.
The painting trick, yeah. I've used that quite a few
I try to teach all my guys that, and they just don't listen. Like,
I just did it the other day on a paint job. So
perfect lines, how you pull that.
Perfect. It was actually the ceiling transition. I did the ceiling.
Yeah. if you're feeling a little shaky that day and you think, your hand cut needs to be more perfect, you tape it, clear caulk a thin layer on it, you can paint it sloppy, pull the tape. The caulking allows the paint not to weep back behind the tape, which gives you the little funny run. And you got to pull it before the caulk dries, so there's a little timing to it, but it gives you a perfect line.
I didn't have a choice. I was kind of working with Phil guys and had paint experience.
So if you did that, then they could be sloppy,
yeah,
and you're
absolutely.
like, I saved you all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I saved us. What do you mean? Well, we are a team.
Yeah.
We messed that up. We did this. I try not to say they did that.
We
that.
did this.
Yes.
You're welcome.
I'm accountable. I'll be accountable for my crew.
But you know what? As you are out there networking and working with some of the old timers, or even if you go into, Sherwin-Williams, some of those guys, I'm like, what are the other painters doing? Because when you're a jack of all trades, it's like, it's hard to be like the end all be all for every single trade.
Right.
You can do them all pretty well, but some guys can't. I have guys that are like, I call, one-dimensional, two-dimensional, three-dimensional, like views on construction. And you'll have some guys that are like kind of they can do one trade. Like, I'm a sheetrocker. Don't ask me to cut a 2x4. I can't measure, say my life, but I'm like, they can cut sheetrock all day. You have guys that specialize. And then every now and then you find a guy that can just like do 3 or 4 trades. Who's like, I can do everything, but I don't do this. Like, he knows, he's like, I can frame, I can trim, I can do 10 trades, but he's like, I don't do concrete.
I'm not doing concrete. That's
he's like, concrete's my nemesis, right? And then you have another guy that's like, I can do everything, hang sheetrock, but I don't mud. He's like, I cannot figure out the flow of the liquids. And then, it's just like, I had one worker, like, he was like a billy goat. He'd climb up on that roof, be like, up on the top, and he could like shoot himself with a nail gun and be like, pull it out and be like, it's just a flesh wound. He keep working. A little bee or hornet comes around, we go home. And I'm like, what in the world? We could shoot you with nails and you'd be like, can't hurt steel. A little bee comes along, like, oh my gosh. And you'd be off so like, everyone has like their little weakness. It's super kind of funny. Some it's spiders, some it's just crazy. Put them under the house and you could hear the guys like, there's a spider down there and they're freaking out. It's like everyone has their thing that gets them. And it's kind of fun to watch. Everyone's just human.
right.
Everyone's just human.
You're right.
There's one guy, he loved the attic and the crawl space. He was like, it's the only place in the house that doesn't lie to you. And I was like, all right, get up there. Get down there. You're hired. And there's an aspect of that's true because you can kind of move stuff around and see and follow what's going on. So you know where the wires are, where everything is, doesn't lie to you. All right, Adam, I've been kind of taking advantage.
We could probably do this all day, actually talk about construction.
Yeah, I've been taking advantage a little bit. So you've had an interesting life, had some hardships in life. You want to tell me about, your little process of getting going sober and how long you've been clean for?
Just celebrated 7 years clean.
Awesome.
March 1st. And it was a long road, hard life, homelessness, jail time, felony. Man, the list goes on. You're just a drug addict. You're just a piece of shit, and nobody's going to do anything for you unless you do it for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what happened to me. I finally realized I needed help. I'm no longer going to hold that myself as a man and I say I don't need help from anybody. I got this. I do not got this. And I needed all the help I could get. Once I finally figured that out and did it for myself, things changed.
So if I was a future customer, would I have any worries about your honesty or integrity? So I'm like, oh, you had a past of being, having some struggles.
I live off of good honesty and good integrity. That's how I carry myself today and then outside of projects. in my professional life
You can vouch for that. Yes,
and in my family house.
And I bring it up because some people be like, I don't know, is he going to fall off the bandwagon again? And
So it's like I practice these in the program in it. We practice these principles in all my affairs.
Mhm.
So in every single affair that I am in, I am gonna be honest, and you can trust me. Like there's no question because I've done some horrible things, some bad things.
yeah,
You know, you say you never steal from your mom. You love your mom. You got your mom's back. She coddled me from day one. You know, but then, drugs get involved and you completely forget about all of that. And you start doing that to your family members and it's heartbreaking. I wouldn't say that I didn't have control, but things just carry on and we take advantage of those situations and things and destroy everything.
yeah,
And so the recovery part of my life is like making amends to all those things I care about, to all those people I care about, especially my mom. Made those amends as fast as I could when I was ready. Some people can't make it that far and start seeing gifts of life. Like there's more to life than being a drug addict, than being on the streets. Like I said, I gotten a lot out of recovery. Bought a house, got my kids in my life, got a beautiful wife.
awesome.
Dude, like I got good friends, that help me, start businesses and, networking and advertising. You start connecting, you start hanging around people that want to actually better your life and your life will get better. It's kind of like a weird sickness. Oh, you're doing good. Well, I'm going to be good with you. You're doing bad. Well, I'm probably going to do bad things too. So it's like all about who you know and who you want to hang out with.
Yeah. Let's do a shout out to Armando Reyes. He says, "What's up, man?" There's some other cool people watching, but they didn't type it.
Someone else got a comment on here says, I love the testimony. Thank you for your bravery and gut wrenching openness. Compassion is everything. God bless you.
One thing I think that's really cool about people that have made mistakes in life is they own it. Like, there's things like I haven't gone down that road, so I can't comprehend that. And I think, if I had made some of those choices, I'd be kind of ashamed that I wouldn't be like, I ain't telling nobody. I'm like, but I noticed there's people that are like, yeah, I fumbled. I totally ruined the game. Lost for my team. Like they own it, and I think there's a beauty to that. That I'm like the openness and boldness of their experience, and I think that's important. Um, and I see it all the time, and I noticed it for some that know. I do some handwriting analysis, just graphology, how people write, kind of stems to the brain writing and tells traits about people. And I would know things about people, and they're I would have been embarrassed to own this, but there was a soldier that we were with, and we were bored, so they would bring people in, and Rick, analyze their handwriting, so I'd analyze them, and I was like, so he had like a Joe Biden, Bill Clinton trait, which is cheater, pumpkin eater. It's in their handwriting, and I was like, man, you have this trait that you can never be faithful to a woman. And he goes, well, duh, I'm on my third marriage and I cheated on all of them. And I was like, whoa, I would not be like, saying anything about that. But he owned it. He knew that was kind of part of who he was. And, for me, I would be like shocked that someone would just be so open with this information. I'm like, but it was interesting, to hear people just be open with their flaws. Like, yeah, that's who I am, and anyway, not that you have that problem. People watching, he's a cheater, pumpkin. I have tried to explain an example, and someone thought I was talking about them.
Another comment says, Rick, you rock.
Thank
you.
You.
The company that you keep.
Thank you. Anyway, so I appreciate the boldness that people that have been through fire and tribulation, they can just share and be like, yeah, I fumbled and this is what it cost me and this is the hard road.
Yeah, I typically don't say anything to clients ever. Unless they offer me a beer or a shot, which happens all the time. And I'm like, nah, I can't.
Yeah.
Why not? Well,
I'm in recovery. Like, how do you say that tactfully? So
that's what I say. Hey, I'm recovering.
I'm in my sober phase right now. You don't want to be the one that brings me down.
Yeah. For me, it's not even a phase. It's not even an option. Like I pick up one drink, one sip. It's like I'm going full speed. Oh, it's okay to take a sip.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay to do other things too. So it's always there. It's always there. I know it's there. I run the tape. Hot day on the beach. Like, dang, Modelo Corona sounds amazing right now. This is the time to do it. Dang, like, well, what's going to happen after that?
2,
I know
3, yeah.
Case, off to the races.
Off to the races.
We're racing to kill myself.
You're going the wrong way. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. And anyway, so appreciate that.
Yeah.
Let's see. So you're doing probably starting with remodels, doing anything. He loves caulking, guys.
I wouldn't say I love it, and I guess I'm better than most at it. Most of the people I hang out with anyway.
Oh, it's all downhill. You guys are all thinking what I'm thinking. You're like, oh, how many jokes can we do about caulking?
I can handle the cop.
You like the big tube or the little tube?
No, it's
I hope my mom's not listening. I'll get a phone call later.
No, it took a lot of time and getting over fears to start a business.
It is very, very scary.
Dude, it's like, what am I going to do? How am I going to feed my family? When's the time to do it? Am I going to have clients who, I don't have a loss anymore. I don't have a paycheck.
You don't have job security.
I don't have the security.
In fact, someone just popped on here, Teresa Holiday. She's one of my first clients that I have when I was starting out, probably my second. And I just finished a job and I was like, I don't know where my next job's coming from. And then Teresa called me. We remodeled her bathroom and stuff in out in Royal City. I mean, she was great. The whole family was great. And gratefully, she still calls me today for little random stuff and bids and things.
Awesome. So that's good stuff.
Turned out to be a good thing. But it's very scary to go off on your own because you're like, what if my phone doesn't ring? What if I have no bids? And I always kind of had the miracle that when one job was ending, I could just say like a little prayer,
yes,
I need a miracle. And then either that afternoon or the next day, the phone would ring and I have the next job. And I was like, cool.
That's great. That's great. I actually have a buddy that is working closely with Home Depot installs. So he'll bring me along when I don't have work. So it's, it's all about people in this little town. Just trying to get my name out there,
Yeah.
A couple months in, I've got a couple bathroom models, but it's not like taking off very fast.
No, just one at a time.
One at a time. And like I said, like you need to be very comfortable with the universe, the God of your understanding, whatever it is that it's got you back.
Yeah.
Something out there has your back, and shoot for it and go for it. I had a little money set aside so I can be comfortable during this time of not knowing. It's always nice to have a little backup plan, right?
Yeah.
So that I can say that starting business was probably, overcoming a lot of fear. Definitely a big part of my life is fear. Everything's fear-based.
Well, the unknown, yeah, especially when our whole society is based off of you got to pay rent and bills and this and that every month. You kind of you can't just go on cruise control and be like, yeah, I could do 2 remodels a year, not work. And you're like, no, I need to remodel a month.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I need to, but yeah, it's really scary to go off to start a business. So anyone that's watching, if you started a business, I commend you because it takes some kahunas to do that. take something.
And you're like, well, should I put money aside for IRS? What's going to happen here? So I'm like self-taught, and I've had friends help me kind of figure this out, and people that have been doing it a while. So it's like, I think I have some things figured out. I think it's going to go okay. I think I'm going to be okay.
Awesome. Okay. All right, Adam McDonald, do you have a phone number? How do people reach you if they want some caulking done?
If they want some caulking done, any kind of repair done, doors, windows, flooring, whatever. My number is 509-350-9564. Reach me whenever you want. I'll answer the phone.
Say your number one more time.
It is 509-350-9564.
Have you set up a Facebook page
I
yet?
do have a Facebook page. It's ButtonUp Construct. I also have, I have business cards for days. So, yeah, it's pretty much how far I've gotten so far. I'm not like,
Hey, we're in a small town, so I don't think you really need a website. A lot of word of mouth in our town. Everyone's got cell phones, so I mean, business cards are kind of just a plus, but they're cheap to get.
Well, I mean, I gave my neighbor like a stack of business cards, and he handed them out at work.
Oh, nice.
And I got a call, and I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Super, super grateful, right? So
yeah, awesome.
Something worked, So
there you go. Well, thanks for the feedback and input. Adam McDonald, ButtonUp Construction, thanks for being on the show. We're going to sign off. Anything to add, Donnie?
Thank you.
Detour, well, whatever.
Brothers on the
I got lost in that one. All right, folks, this is Rick signing out. I totally
Thanks for that. Next time.
I have to own it. I fumbled it. Bye.